COVID inquiry continues. The Prime Minister is taking the hot seat today. Formerly, of course, the Chancellor at the time. Rishi Sunak has been giving advice throughout the morning.
Well, our reporter, Addison, is live for us outside the inquiry. And, Ray, what have we learnt?
Well, Rishi Sunak started off this morning by saying he wanted to make a brief opening statement expressing how deeply sorry he was for those who had lost loved ones or suffered during the pandemic. He said he'd thought about it a lot over the last 2 years, and he said that today he would be giving his evidence in the spirit of constructive candour. Now, of course, the questioning actually started with the issue of the Prime Minister's missing WhatsApp messages. He had been asked to provide WhatsApp messages from his various mobile phones during the time period and hadn't been able to do so. This was all dealt with actually fairly quickly. He explained that he wasn't actually a prolific user of WhatsApp anyway, and he hadn't actually sent many during the pandemic. He also said he changed his phone multiple times and he just didn't have the messages backed up. He also pointed out that notes were formally recorded during the meeting, so Mr. Sunak said it didn't really matter that he didn't have those messages. Now, he wasn't massively pressed on this, although he was asked by the KC leading the inquiry there whether he had ever received any advice or been told by any government officials that he should preserve those messages, and he said he did not recall being given that information. Now, one of the key issues that he was answering questions on today was the impact of decision-making on the economy and public health. Of course, we know that he's faced accusations in the past. He's been criticised for prioritising the economy over the health of the population, the Eat Out to Help Out scheme as well being a key element of that. He said that most of the discussion about impacts on the economy actually happened after the first lockdown, as they had more data to look at and review, and that actually increased over time. He said it was his constitutional responsibility to provide advice to the Prime Minister on the financial impact, and that was where he would keep his focus during that advice. And he also said it was very hard to correctly predict any impact before that first lockdown, but they had a lot more to go on afterwards.
Some people might say the biggest mistakes were made in that bumpy period around the second half lockdown and the third lockdown. No doubt there'll be more on this later this afternoon, but for